everybody, it's Philly J. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing our 8,000 mile service on my 2014 CB1100. In addition to the maintenance schedule, I also just wanted to give you guys a review on this bike after 8,000 miles, what I think of it, some of the positives, some of the negatives, as well as some of the updates that I've put on this bike. So first things first, let's do this maintenance. So I already inspected the fuel lines and the throttle operation. It's perfect, not too much play. So the next thing is the crankcase breather valve. So we're gonna clean that, and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. So on your left side of the bike, right below the shifter, this is gonna be your crankcase breather. We're just gonna undo this knob and we'll drain it into our drain pan. And I've actually never done this. I know it says to do this kind of when it rains, when you wash the bike, or if it's overturned. Luckily, I've never overturned it, but obviously I've washed it and rode in the rain a decent amount. So let's drain this and see what comes out of there. Nothing. All right, got that back installed. Let's move on to the next. So the next thing is to replace the spark plug, which I'm actually not gonna do. One, because I don't have one on me, and two, because I think it's still okay. Never had any issues with it, and if I do, I'll just swap that out. Another thing is inspecting the valve clearance. Try to look up some videos, but it looks a little more technical than what I'm comfortable with. I'm gonna skip that for now as well, but let me know in the comments if that's something I really need to look into, or if I need to take to a dealer to look into, or if you guys think I can do that with basic tools that I would have here. So next thing is the engine oil. So let's change the oil filter, and go on from there. Of course, I dropped the washer. Beautiful. All right, while that's finishing dripping out, let's go ahead and remove the oil filter and get that swapped out as well. All right, for oil, I know last time I used a generic brand. A lot of people gave me shit for it. So today we're going with the Honda grade GN4 10W30, non-synthetic. I believe it takes 4.1 quarts. We got 4 quarts here, should be perfect. And we'll get that thrown in there, so let's do it. And obviously before we do that, we need to reinstall our new oil filter. We got the K&N premium oil filter, and the number is KN204-1 if you're wondering. So let's throw that on there. And just hand tighten. Good to go. Let's add that oil. If you're wondering why I'm already drenched, it's over 100. It's been really hot down here in Florida. If you live down here, you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's put this oil in. And obviously, before we do that, we're going to reinstall our oil plug, because that would be silly. So let's put that back on there. And obviously I already inspected my washer. Everything looks good. Plug looks great. No issues, no cracks, no scratches. So we'll put that back in. All right, let's tighten that up and we'll put that oil in. Your oil fill is going to be right here on your right hand throttle side. Undo the little plug. That's not going to work. Well, this is quite overkill. I don't think I have a better option because this blue one is not a great fit. So let's go with this long snorkel. All right, triple check. Oil plug closed. Oil filter closed. Thank you, Amazon, for smushing this oil canister. So now, oh, there we go. Oh boy, it's almost very bad. I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on this gauge down here. If you can see that, but I'll let you know when it's good. Obviously, you also want to run it for a couple minutes. Oh, it's hot. It does look a little high, but I'm gonna run it for a few minutes and see once it runs through the engine. Make sure it's not too high, because my dad always told me you'd rather be a little on the lower end than on the higher end, because it'll blow up. All right, let's run it. Run this for a few minutes, let it get warm, and then check it. I love those backfires. We're on the higher end, but still within those two lines. As long as it doesn't raise too much more, it should be perfect. All right, that's settled. It's perfectly in the right spot. So next, let's move on the chain. I know it's a little loose, so definitely need to tighten that up. I'll probably oil it up as well. I think I still have some chain lube, so let's do that. So the drive chain should be between 1 inch and 1.25 inches slack. You want to measure it kind of right in the middle between the front of the drive chain, between both sprockets. So I kind of found this spot right here. Put my tape measure kind of perfectly there. So it's sitting right at halfway of the chain. It's actually a little below, so I'm gonna move it up. And then I'm gonna measure when I push up on the chain to make sure it's between 1 inch and 1.25 inches. So let's go. So it looks to be right at 1.25, but it seems pretty loose to me, so we're gonna tighten it up just a tad. So to tighten the chain, or loosen the chain, you wanna loosen this rear axle nut, and then we're gonna twist these little adjusting bolts equally on both sides until we reach the desired level of tightness. So let's loosen this big boy up and then twist these little guys till we get to where we wanna go. All right, we got that loose. So let's tighten this just a tad. And I tighten that bolt again using a regular pipe wrench, but you need to use a torque wrench to get the required 83 pounds of torque on there. So my dad has one, so I'm gonna have him bring that over before you ride. Make sure you do that. You don't want that thing to come loose. That'll be a bad day waiting to happen. So we'll get that fixed. Now we're just gonna inspect our brake fluid, clutch fluid, blinker fluid, and everything else. So let's get to that, and then we'll talk about kind of what I've done and what I think of it after 8,000 miles. So let's get to it. right, let's lube up this drive chain. All right, and if you could tell, not 100% sure if that's the right way to apply the chain lube, but it seems pretty straightforward. Let me know if I butchered that in the comments. Also, you could probably hear a little bit of brake skimming. I thought it was kind of an issue because I did notice that also while riding every once in a while. Just hearing the brakes kind of skim. You can hear it now. Not the honk, but looked into it and it is pretty normal. So if you do have that, it's not an issue. Nothing you need to really adjust. It's totally okay as long as it's not impeding or actually braking while you're trying to twist the tire. So looks perfect. Also, if that's not the correct way to do it, let me know in the comments. Some of you more expert people might have better ways to do that, or actually tell me we should adjust it. So let me know. That's pretty much it for the maintenance. There's a couple other things on that maintenance schedule, but like I said, on those valves, I'm probably going to take it in and have those looked at. I'm just not too comfortable doing that, and I'll get everything else checked, but wanted to get the easier things out of the way that most shops will charge you an arm and a leg for, that are pretty easy to do yourself. So got that. So let's go over some of the updates I've done and what I think of this bike after 8,000 miles. All right, let's start by things I've added on this bike. I'll try to remember them all. So first thing is the super brace. This was probably the best thing I've put on this bike. Obviously not for looks, but for stability on the front forks. It's a drastic difference in the smoothness of turning, and even while driving straight, kind of these front two forks aren't stabilized by anything. After this top stabilizer up here, you have all this length all the way down to the forks, to the wheel, that's not being stabilized. So super brace makes this amazing piece right here. You just bolt in, it kind of clips together from both sides, and this does wonders. I think they make it for all kinds of bikes, so if you're having stability problems or you feel it's a little loose on the front, get one of these. Can't recommend it enough. Second piece, handlebar. So I went from the traditional chrome, kind of big, relaxed riding position to the Renthal, I believe it's called the low rise. I did initially have clip-ons that I had down here to get kind of that Cafe Racer look, but when you use this bike to commute, and I ride it a lot, put a lot of time in, it's just not comfortable. I already have neck problems, and just looking up like this, because you're kind of laying down on the bike, it's not comfortable. It looks amazing, but not great for a commuter bike. So saw somebody say, grab the Renthal low rise, and these are kind of the perfect in between. Still have that sleek lower look, where the old bars were kind of like way up here. So love those. Grab you one of those. Super cheap too, I think, maybe under $100 on those. So painted the mirrors black, just not huge on the chrome look. Obviously have chrome still here on the front, blinkers, headlight, everything. But as you probably saw, I wrapped the exhaust pretty much right after I got it. It was a black wrap, but over time, riding through the rain and everything, that black's kind of faded. Still think it looks amazing, but might end up swapping that eventually, put some new black ones on there. I know a lot of people say not to do this because your pipes can lead to cracking underneath, but hey, I love the look. I'll risk that. And one of the cheapest yet best pieces I think I put on here is this exhaust tip. Again, super cheap, definitely under $100. And it's literally just a tip, so there's no more exhaust that comes all the way up here. I actually have it hanging up here as a wall ornament, but you can see how massive that is, and the bike is so quiet with that stock exhaust on there. It's just not safe feeling to ride when nobody can hear you. So putting this on there has been probably my favorite addition. The sound is incredible, it backfires. Never did a tune on it after, it's ran great, never had any issues. highly recommend this. You should probably look at getting a tune, because I think that's the best for the engine, since you won't have any more back pressure really, because it's coming straight out. But for me, it's been amazing. Sounds amazing. Doesn't sound like a tin can. Yeah, really happy with this exhaust tip. Coming to the back of the bike, finally, after years of having that ugly fender on the back there, finally got rid of that. If you want to see how I did that for free, check out the link up in the description. The only thing I bought was the brake light and these little license plate lights that literally just bolt on. Super easy to do. Love it. I kind of moved the blinkers in. They were initially all the way out here on these brackets, so moved those closer in. Threw on this retro little brake light. It's super bright as well, so no issues there. And yeah, I used pieces of the old fender here to do a fender eliminator, and love the way it looks. Very sleek. Initially wanted to put the license plate down here on the axle, and I think the issue was when I just had this light here, this looked way too open since I had no other fenders here. I ended up going this route, since this kind of acts as a fender or splash guard. The water, when I do ride in the rain, just kind of hits this and doesn't spray over as much. So happy with that. And thinking about that, I also took the fender off the front, so I think it looks a lot better. Again, kind of going with the Cafe Racer style, if you can't tell. And the whole idea behind that is to get rid of as much weight as you can. So taking things off. What I'd love to do, that I haven't done, is take this out, move the battery box somewhere else, and kind of have that through look there. I just love that on some of those CB500 rebuilds, 750s. I think that looks amazing, but obviously way bigger bike, way more modern, way more cables, everything. So been putting that off, but might see me do that in the future. Obviously, if you ride and don't have a quad lock, you're missing out. Just screw your phone on there, pop it right in, take it right off. It's amazing. And I think that's all the things I've done. Trying to think of anything else. I did get rid of the chain guard as well. Just looked ugly, stock. I like how it's exposed. You know, my shoes don't really get close to that or have my shoelaces in there. So with a passenger, it's a little different, but still never had issues. So another thing I do want to probably do here soon is either get a yellow tint on this to kind of get a little more retro feel, and or also put one of those headlight guards on there. I think that looks super cool. In addition to those black, forget the name of them now, but little plastic clamps that you put around this, kind of hide a little more of this chrome and just make it look nice and retro. And the other thing was a new seat. I'd really love to get a brown seat on this, like a brown leather, just flat seat instead of this 2-level. I think those look really cool. Seen some online. I think from Japan, they're probably $400 or $500, so haven't gotten around to that. And in a perfect world, I'd also get rid of this massive speedometer, just because from the front, I just feel it looks massive. Obviously that's the style, but I'd love this to be just a small little one circle, maybe even digital, sleeker design. I think that'd be really cool. But also, that's not easy. I'd probably have a professional do that. But if you have any tips on tricks on that, make sure you comment below. So let's get into the review. So yeah, after 8,000 miles, this thing is nothing but a dream. I bought it in 2018, I believe. It's a 2014, and it was crated up. I initially went to the dealership to pick up a Triumph. I think it was a Bonneville, and they had one of these in the showroom. And my dad used to ride CBs way back in the day, and he told me I should deeply consider my decision, because obviously Honda lasts forever, parts easy to get, easy to maintain. Yeah, after heavily weighing my decision, I ended up going with the CB1100. Again, they had a bunch of them crated up still for 5 years, so that was a little worrying to me. I looked into it. I think they just had some supply and demand issues and created way too many than the supply demanded for. One of these up, got a huge discount on it, and that was another thing. It was cheaper than the Triumph by a lot, and way bigger engine. I think the Triumph's 700 or 800 cc. This is 1100. and you can really feel it all. So this bike isn't the fastest bike, this bike isn't the lightest bike, this isn't the sportiest bike, but after riding lots of different bikes, Harleys, sports bikes, dirt bikes, supermotos, this is literally the perfect in-between bike. The bike that I will probably have forever, because it's literally the in-between of all those bikes. It's heavy, it has a good pickup, you can get out of situations, you can take off, and it's literally been the most reliable bike for me. Again, I've put 8,000 miles on it now in the last, I guess 5 years, and I've literally never had a single issue with this bike. I've kept up with the maintenance, and literally have never had to take it to the dealership for anything, and for that I think it deserves a medal in itself. I also initially was looking into the Harley 883s. I rode one of those in California on the Pacific Coast Highway. Check that video out. But from riding that to going to this is the Rolls Royce of that bike. It's literally the perfect in between. You know, it's a bigger bike, bigger engine, and it just feels so much more solid. It's such a smooth ride, and I just can't speak more highly about this bike. I'm trying to think of some negatives here, but I honestly cannot think of a single negative from this bike. There's parts all around. You can look for anything you want to upgrade on the bike, quite easily available. Obviously not as easily as maybe a 750 or 550, whatever those more old school CBs are. And another thing is, I think I've only seen one other CB1100 on the road. You know, a lot of the other bikes, Harleys, everything, you see them everywhere, but I get looks everywhere I go. Everyone asks me about this bike, and it's just been a dream to ride. And yeah, I can't speak more highly of this bike. Highly recommend you at least check one out, go ride it, see what you think. But if you're looking for that perfect in-between bike, perfect of all worlds, check out the CB1100. You won't be disappointed. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you found that valuable. I'm sorry I couldn't think of anything negative on this bike. It's literally been the perfect bike for me. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you got something out of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Have a great day. See you next time. Peace.
A few of my favorite